Hi people, ready for part 3? Let's see how much sanity I can drain. This ice cream should help.
SCP-342. Object Class, Euclid. SCP-342 normally takes the form of a mass transit ticket for the closest form of mass transportation.
You can't leave once you
to its
have it.
current location. At the moment, it takes the form of a train ticket, departing from transit station. When held by a sentient person for any length of time, it will eventually change form into a transit ticket for a form of transportation that its holder desires to use. The transformation always takes place when not being directly or indirectly observed. No recordings of SCP-342 changing its form exist at this time. Anyone who uses SCP-342 to board a vehicle is unable to exit the vehicle by any means. When the vehicle reaches the end of its route, the one using the ticket will cease to exist in our reality. Any user of this SCP claims to feel extremely paranoid and have an uncomfortable and uncontrollable dread consume them. Specifically, the way in which they describe their emotions when in contact with the ticket resembles acute paranoid schizophrenia, as all will witness a perception of darkness outside of their vehicle, including a mass amount of fog or the portrayal of night. Witness reports claim that victims mumble to themselves or grow in intense fear of other passengers and the conductor. There have been several experiments with different transportation networks, each yielding different results. SCP-610. Object Class, Keter. SCP-610 is a contagious virus that starts out with a small rash, which will then lead to intense itching and skin sensitivity. However, after 3 hours, the skin disease will spread in such a way that skin will begin to scar and cover in blemishes around the chest and arm region, completely consuming the affected person after a full 5 hours.
It's so
of being
weird.
infected.
It's an abomination.
Following this is the life function ceasing for a full 3 minutes before starting again at a rate of 2 or 3 times the regular activity rate for a standard human being. This leads to the sprouting of several limbs, like a leg or an arm.
I know.
The skin disease can affect one in such a way that the head will become so misshapen it will barely be recognizable as being a human. The victim will sit in one place and root itself to the surroundings that it is located in, consuming objects around it with his or her own flesh. The area that SCP-610 affects is close to Lake Baikal in southern Siberia, and it was first reported from the Russian government through undisclosable channels. The reports consisted primarily of disappearances of farmers in the region, and were not considered until local police and government agents failed to report within a 72-hour period. Observation of SCP-610 infected settlements have been established using artificial methods such as remote robots and drones.
There's
the data
walkers,
returned
for
from these
God's
observations, coupled with the openly aggressive nature of the infected to attempt to spread SCP-610,
Look at that.
has resulted in the Keter classification. However, so long as nothing is allowed to enter or leave the infected areas, it is considered to be a neutralized threat.
I meant drones ain't going because, well, they're not biological. They're mechanical. Which everyone should know. Unless you're young, then you should stop watching this.
SCP-122. Object Class, Keter. As strange as it may sound, SCP-122 is a child's nightlight designed to look like a star.
The soul out of body.
This product is unregistered and has no brand name written anywhere on the structure, so it's safe to presume that this nightlight is but an anomaly of its kind. Reports indicate that when it is in an unpowered state, the nightlight will affect anyone within a 500-meter radius of its location. When anyone enters the radius, they will slip into an REM sleep and will be sent into a comatose state until the nightlight has recharged itself. While comatose, subjects will claim that they have seen humanoid figures that are formed from a black, translucent mass of shadow from somewhere around the light. Figures have been described as sentient, with physical properties similar to that of the subject. In a powered state, the sleep pattern of the subject will be affected greatly. Claims have been made that the subjects will have disturbing and psychologically tormenting dreams that have often led to insomnia. SCP-122 was first discovered within the Linnell Children's Hospital on the after several reports of its manifestations reached locally embedded agents. Recovered documents indicate that a patient brought SCP-122 when being admitted. However, no record of the patient's identity has been found. SCP-122 is stored in a standard containment chamber containing a single electrical outlet. Personnel are instructed to routinely monitor SCP-122 at all times and never let it enter an unpowered state. During a breach which caused the death of 17 site personnel, security footage witnessed several maintenance personnel tampering with the SCP-122's chamber lock. When questioned, the subjects claimed that they had done so under duress, saying that a canary was not allowing them to sleep until they released SCP-122. Affected subjects were given Class A anesthetics, and containment procedures have been revised.
Probably just needs therapy. There's a second part of this for that.
SCP-513. Object Class Euclid. SCP-513 is a simple bell coated in a thick layer of rust. All attempts to remove the rust that engulfs the integrity of the bell have been unsuccessful. Having tested using both chemical measures and mechanical, there are literally no markings or symbols to be seen, so it is impossible to identify the exact origin. Upon SCP-513's discovery, it was also found that the bell's clapper was strapped tightly to one of the interior walls of the thick metal structure using strong industrial tape. Attached to the bell was a piece of paper with the text written on it which read, "You've seen it, now he can hear you. You've touched it, now he can see you. Never ring it. If you hear it, he can touch you." Any sentient being to hear the bell chime shows overt signs of extreme anxiety, with an increased heart rate and blood pressure. After some time, those exposed to the sound claim to catch glimpses of another humanoid sentient being in their peripheral vision. Whenever the exposure victim attempts to look directly at this other being, it simply runs in the other direction, not leaving any traces. Due to the severity of the anxiety caused by the knowledge of this stalking, victims are commonly deprived of sleep and often suffer from clinical depression. Those who were able to fall unconscious state that they are physically assaulted by the stalking being, which flees when the victim awakes. All description taken from several different Foundation personnel all match the same criteria: a humanoid being with long arms and large hands. This being is not visible to those who have been exposed to the ringing of the bell, which leaves researchers blindsided. SCP-513 is located in a 1 cubic meter block of gelatin and contained within a soundproofed, climate-controlled cell, which is inspected daily for any degradation or loss of integrity.
SCP-035. Object Class Keeper.
So let's just stop here.